Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 4, C-Class Civil Infrastructure Engineering, 10 November, Institute of Technology. In this occasion, we will explain about flood. Before that, let me introduce our group member. The first is me, Fakhrudin Ansori. My student number is 26. Next is Firdaus Laila Ramadhani with student number 35. And then Rillist Rimba Rani with student number 37. And the last is Iqbal Muhammed Pahlevi Trisula with student number 40. In this presentation, there are 4 subjects. The first is description of the flood. The second is causes of the flood. Third is impact of the flood. And fourth, flood prevention.
Description of flood. There are 3 descriptions of flood. The first, according to Government Regulation number 38 of 2011. Floods are the event of overflowing river water beyond river truths. The second, according to Johanna, flood is an event that occurs due to the accumulation of water that falls and can be accommodated by the ground. The third, according to Aminuddin, floods are disasters caused by high rainfall by not being balanced with adequate sewerage so as to soak areas that are not desired by the people who are there. So that floods can be interpreted as rainwater discharge that can be accommodated by drainage canals or rivers, as well as soil conditions that are saturated with water, resulting in stagnant water in the land area.
The second subject is causes of flooding. There are 2 factors, causes of flooding, natural and non-natural. The natural causes, the first is rainfall. In the rainy season, high rainfall results in flooding in the river, and if it exceeds the river cliffs, there will be floods or puddles. Second is physiography. Physiography or physical geography of rivers such as river geometry affects the occurrence of floods. The third is erosion and sedimentation. The occurrence of erosion and sedimentation causes aggradation or siltation, so that the capacity of channel of river reservoir is reduced. The fourth is drainage capacity. Inadequate or unsuitable drainage capacity planning resulting in not being able to accommodate large rainwater discharge. The fifth is effect of the tide. At the time of flooding along with high tides, the height of inundation or flooding becomes large because of backwater. If the capacity of the channel is inadequate, there will be overflow or called rock flood. The next one is non-natural causes. The first is change in the condition of the watershed or land use change. Change in land use results in reduced land catchment, so that surface water flow increases. The second is slums around the river border. Construction of houses on the river border due to lack of land causing the area of wet cross-section of channels and discharge that can be accommodated is reduced. The third is littering. Waste will accumulate in the river, which can reduce the area of wet cross-section of the channel. And finally, the discharge that can be accommodated is also reduced. The fourth is improper planning of flood control systems. Do not consider abnormal rain that has occurred so that when abnormal rain occurs, resulting in drainage channels cannot accommodate rainwater discharge.
Next, I will explain about the impact of flood. In general, the impact of floods can be direct or indirect. Example, first, loss of life or injury. Floods that hit an area can damage and wash away homes, causing injuries and deaths. Two, spread of viruses and diseases. Flood victims, both at home and in refugee camps, many are affected by skin diseases, diarrhea, bleeding, etc. Third, loss of property. 4. The price of basic necessities increases. 5. Education is closed. And 6. Public transport is hampered. Flooding can also hamper public transportation or make the road further away to be able to reach the destination because it affects other points. 7. Settlement damage. Floods cause residents to temporarily evacuate to safer place. 8. Damage to the trading area. 9. Damage to industrial areas. 10. Damage to agricultural areas and reservoirs. Many farmers on the coast are threatened with bankruptcy because the pond is damaged by floods, and also floods that inundate farmland can cause pressure and crop failure in some areas. 11. Damage to drainage and irrigation system. And 12. Disrupting traffic system. The flood disrupted the smoothness of traffic. This is because the water that inundates the highway due to flooding. Losses incurred by floods, especially in direct cause, may rank first or second after earthquakes or tsunamis.
For flood prevention. Flood prevention example: planting trees, ornamental plant, and grass in the land to effort to infiltrate rainwater into the soil or biopori. 3. Non-prone or vulnerable elemental mapping. 4. Mapping of flood areas or flood roads. 5. Mapping of areas for other disaster. 6. Land use regulation. 7. Population and building density. And the last is prohibition of use of land for certain function.
Let's save the earth from flooding by doing what has been explained earlier. These are the resources we use in this presentation. That's all presentation from us. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.